My name is Chef Lachelle. I am the culinary education manager at the Good Acre. We may have a couple other staff members peeking in and out, but for the most part, it's going to be me talking. Since it's a small group, feel free to jump in and ask questions at any time. And this video recording will be putting it out there. So if you know other people that might be interested, you can share the video. I think it's going to go on YouTube. So now I need to make sure that I can let people into the room, but I don't see the little bar hovering. Where's the little bar? How do you make the bar come up? Oh, there's the bar. Okay. All right, I'll just keep that over there. All right, so let's go into it. So things from, I'm going to introduce you to the team of instructors. So I'm happy to say that I've added some instructors to the VoCul program because at first it was just me. And so now, in addition to me, so I'm Chef Lachelle. I'm basically the curator and builder of the VoCul program. And you're going to learn more about what that exactly means. Vocational culinary training is what it's short for. This is my bio. It's a lot of words there just to tell you that basically I've been doing this for quite some time. I guess it doesn't say what year I graduated on culinary school, but I've been cooking professionally for about 10 years now. And have done a lot of different things. And this is naming a few, which was starting my catering business, Shell's Kitchen, launching Breaking Bread, being a culinary instructor at St. Paul College, and a number of other things that I do in the food world. So you can learn more about me. There's more bio on the goodacre.org website. I have a website, LachelleCunningham.com also. And so, you can find out more if you're interested. And I'm sure you can Google me if you want to know even more. The other instructor, one of our other culinary instructors that I'm happy to announce, is not with us today, or tonight. And maybe he'll jump on if he has time. Super busy local chef, celebrity chef, Chef Jamal Hashi. Somalian American chef, worked in the industry 20 years, brings a lot of good energy to the kitchen, good vibes, and has just traveled all over and knows a lot and can cook really, really well. So great person to learn from in the program. One of our other instructors is Chef Orco. We call him Chef Orco. His name is Chef David Ballard, but we like calling him Orco. He's a musician, he's an artist in every sense of the word, including when it comes to food. And so another great addition to our kitchen team. And then just now joining the team, who is actually with us in the digital flesh today, Jenny Green. And Jenny, since you're here, you want to talk just a couple of minutes and say anything about yourself and the program. Jenny joined us a couple times, guest chefing before. So yeah, talk to us.
Yeah, well, thanks, Lachelle. I'm pretty excited about this awesome team. I have a background also as a professional chef and as a culinary nutritionist. I studied and teach in public health and nutrition. So I love the intersection of those things. And I've spent many, many years working in training and education around school food and farm to school and other kind of institutional farm to institution contexts, as well as in general sort of health and well-being focused and food justice focused work. So this is, as Lachelle, I think in your bio, it says it's sort of a natural fit for you. And I think this is a natural fit for me too. A lot of the things that I'm passionate about and have experience with are all sort of a part of this program. So and Lachelle and I have worked together in a lot of different contexts and spaces. So we know each other and we know how we work together. And I did get the chance to meet Jamal and Chef Orco a few times during the last session, but looking forward to working more together.
Yes, and Jenny had everything to do with the real start of the culinary training program at the Good Acre, from just starting out doing our farm to school work and going into schools and doing training. So that was the little baby seed that got planted, several years back when the Good Acre first started. And so now we've evolved, and like Jenny said, we work together and we're always kind of circulating in. So it fits for our own individual reasons, and then it fits for our combined reasons. So
Yep.
Awesome. Happy to have you joining the team, Jenny.
Yes, happy to be here.
Awesome. Thank you. Next, we have basically a little bit of background on the Good Acre. So if you haven't, gone to the website and done all the research about it, what you should know is that the Good Acre is founded in 2014. It's a nonprofit 501c3 organization, and our mission is to connect and strengthen farmers, food makers, and community through good food. And so you can learn more about that at the goodacre.org website. But ultimately, how we got to this vocational culinary training and farm to school work is that, in our work and working with farmers and trying to promote farmers and their access to different markets to basically sell their produce to. One of those markets is schools. And so as we started to develop working with schools to get more produce into the schools started to identify that they had a shortage of trained staff to help them prepare more foods from scratch, right? Because that was our point, is if we're going to get farm fresh ingredients, that they need to be cooked from scratch, and the staff has to be actually trained to do that. And so this ultimately is kind of what led us down this road of providing culinary training. So we started going into schools and bringing them into the Good Acre and training their existing staff. And then it evolved into them saying, well, we have our existing staff, but we actually have a shortage of staff in general and could use more trained staff. And so that's where the Good Acre came in and decided to build a vocational culinary training program in order to provide basically a better pipeline of trained workers into schools. Now, the program has evolved even since we launched it. I joined the organization in 2019, late 2019, and did a bunch of research, and then we launched it almost a year later in the fall of 2020. And so, being that it was during a pandemic, a lot of things changed from what we originally thought we were going to do. And I would say evolved, and I think even work for the better in the long run. And we'll talk a little bit about what that means as far as the program components a little bit later. But ultimately, we created this program to connect individuals seeking stable, well-paying jobs with opportunities in school nutrition services. So the program is farm to school focused, meaning that is our intention, is to get people to go into schools. But it is not a requirement of our program. I just got a note. That was weird. Oh, I got a co-host here. That must have been my co-host that did that. I'm not sure who it is, but hey, co-host. It says Reese, but I know it's not Reese. But ultimately, sorry to go off on a tangent, but ultimately, the program is focused on, and our intention to get more people into schools. But that's not always everyone who comes through the program wants to go through a school. And because of launching the program during the pandemic, we kind of had to expand to other kitchen partners beyond schools, because at the time, not all schools were still cooking from scratch as much as they were. Oh, Chef Jamal is jumping on. Yay. Now I can't seem to, my cursor is missing. Okay, there it is. Okay, it's Anna that's on there. I think she's probably, I'm just texting Chef Orco because I thought he was going to be here too. but I see Chef Hashi is joining. Maybe he's loading. But where'd he go? I don't know where he went. Okay, anyways, so what my whole point was saying is that we've added more collaborative kitchens beyond schools. So our internships and job opportunities have expanded beyond schools with the program, but it is still our intention and our goal to, have an impact on school, schools' abilities to cook from scratch and have better trained staff. And so we created this 14-week program. Oops. Didn't do that. Okay, that's not, I don't know why it's doing that. 14-week program. God, that is like a little clunky now, but ultimately to address those shortages. So thinking about who some of our partners are. So we have partners that we work with on the kitchen side, and then we have some organizational partners that was to root the program through their, with their clients and constituents that they work with. Some of those organizations are Casa de Esperanza, Cornerstone Advocacy Services, the International Institute of Minnesota, and there's probably a couple others. Hey, Chef Jamal. Hey, Chef Hashi. Are you on?
I am. I can hear you guys. I just got home, so give me a few minutes to get ready for the video.
Okay, whenever you want to jump in, we'd love to say hi. I already went over your bio, but we'll have you whenever you're ready. Just let us know.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So some of our other partners that we work with in kitchens are actually a number of kitchens. We work with Great River School, who Jenny is associated with, Roseville School, Robbinsdale Schools, and then we have some other kitchen partners. Okay, I don't know why it keeps doing that because I wasn't touching anything. I think I keep brushing the mouse pad or something. But we have some other kitchen partners, Chow Girls, Shell's Kitchen, which is my catering company. So some people have come and interned with my company. Joya Consulting is Chef Hashi's consulting company, and we've had interns that actually, some of them still working with him. Honey and Rye, which is a bakery over in kind of the Minnetonka, St. Louis Park area. Loaves and Fishes, the Lexington, which is a restaurant. So we've diversified the different types of kitchens and culinary training opportunities for the students when they're going through their internships. And, it's always our hope that these places will have job opportunities for participants when they leave or when their internships are over. That's not always the, desire of the participant. They may not want to work there. They may want to work there. There may be positions open, there may not. And so we just kind of work through that and provide as much support as possible, as well as, I'm always hearing about job opportunities. And so we end up sharing those as well. Loaves and Fishes and Eat for Equity are also some additional kitchen partners that we work with. So ultimately, why do we focus on the school? I talked a bit about why, but I also want to talk about that, people might not always think of, a career or working in the school kitchen as something that they might gravitate towards. But there's a lot of benefits for working in school food service. A lot of times in the food industry, we end up working, long and sometimes late night and weekend hours. And that's just not the case in the school kitchen, right? You're working part-time in some full-time positions, and there's definitely opportunities for advancement. And as far as my ears to the ground on what's going on in school kitchens, there's a lot of need. There's, I think, starting to be even more of a greater need since the pandemic of getting more people back into the kitchen. There's often good competitive pay and benefits. And, you get to be a part of introducing more scratch cooking into schools and ultimately providing better nutrition options for students. So we're always looking at that. So you can go to our website to learn more about, what is vocational training, we have a frequently asked questions part on our website. So if you are you all able to see my screen still that went to the Good Acre website?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Sometimes I forget to how I'm sharing it wrong and I don't do it right. So ultimately, it goes over the program, the goals of the program. There's a video you can watch on, some of the benefits, how the program works. There's a 10-week training portion that's a combination of hands-on and online learning, followed by the internship at a partnering professional kitchen. Participants receive a stipend to offset their living expenses while going through the program, the training, as well as the internship. And ultimately, it's about 28 to 30 hours a week of work combined, the classroom time combined with the online learning modules, learn a little more about in a second. And then after the 10 weeks, there's a 4-week internship commitment at the partner kitchen. And ultimately, we do as much as we can to support people getting their culinary service, some sort of career job in the field. So here's today, the open house. That's awesome. And then there's an application here. So if you are interested in the program, in applying, applications are due January 7th. And I'll talk more about, I don't see the frequently asked questions spot here. Oh, here it is. I guess I didn't scroll down far enough. So you can apply there and share this information if you know others that are interested. And you can learn more about, generals about the program. I talked about what is VoCul. I've talked about who's involved and our partners already. When does it take place? We'll have to update this because I think this still says Cohort 2, but we need, but Cohort 3, and I'll talk about that in the PowerPoint. And I know Nikki's listening, so she'll get that updated soon. And where does it take place? So, and this has evolved too, so we will be updating this as well because we, now that we're back to doing a full 50-50 hybrid of the program, we no longer do online lecturing. So when you remember when the pandemic first hit and we had to do, we couldn't really be in person very often. So we did a lot of lecturing in person and we only met 1 day a week in the kitchen and all the lecturing was in person. And then there was a second shutdown and we had to go 100% to virtual. And so we ended up like doing our labs. Everybody was at home cooking in their kitchen. It was interesting. And it was harder to grade, right? Because I couldn't taste or smell or touch or feel anything. But we made it happen in that first cohort. The second cohort, we were able to meet more in person. So now we're meeting twice a week. And so half of that time, like I said, we meet about 16 hours, right? 2 8-hour full day sessions in the kitchen. And then the other about 14 to 16 hours a week is self-guided, your own time management of getting through the coursework, okay? And so that's basically how it is. I'll talk more about the components and what those web-based platforms are in just a second. It does talk about getting paid. We already talked about that. The stipend, it's 420 hours a week, dollars a week. And that's for, it's about $15 an hour for the 28 hours. And we do have some limited funds to provide some additional assistance for people who might need help with childcare or transportation. Eligibility, we don't have a big, stringent eligibility. We just have 12 seats. So that's the competitiveness of the program, is that we want, we try to get 12 people in and through the program. We want, people that at this point we're doing adults 18 years of age or older, valid ID, and a high school diploma. Now we do try to remove as many barriers as we possibly can. And we do a background check because that's required in schools. Not everything that comes back on a background check is gonna automatically disqualify someone. It's just things that a school might look at, like anything that might relate to children or something like that. But ultimately, we're trying to remove barriers and make this program accessible to as many people as possible. So, but the competitive part is the limited seats we have, and then trying to make sure that there's a balance between how much the person needs the program versus are they or not, and also are there, their capability of completing the program is also important to us too, right? So we want people to be in the right place to be able to do that. And sometimes no doesn't always mean no. It just might mean not right now until you're ready or until we have more space in the program. And then just to clarify, job placement is not guaranteed as a part of the program. But what we do guarantee is that we provide the training, content. The program is accredited, so it does apply towards culinary school if you choose to take it further to go that way. And then we do provide serve safe food managers certification training and examination. We also pay for the license when people have applied or when people have completed and passed the test. So more you guys already know about me. We probably need to add some more of our program partners here, but for the most part, that's the website. If you've gone through it already, sorry, but I wanted to review it for those that may have not. Are there any questions now that we're at the frequently asked questions part of the presentation?
I had a question.
Sure.
Where will the 8-hour training in the kitchen be located?
Yeah, we are confirming that. So at our last cohort, we were at the Eat for Equity kitchen, but their logistics there have changed in their capacity. So we're moving kitchens, and right now we have 2 kitchens that are our options. And so we're weighing those options out. So we will have that firmed up by right around the new year. And then we'll start moving into that kitchen at the beginning of February. Actually, we may start a little earlier than that, but regardless, so one of the kitchens is in South Minneapolis and the other kitchen is in St. Paul, basically right by the Capitol near downtown. So that one is right on the light rail. And the other one is actually in the George Floyd area, in the George Floyd Square area. So we're trying to, make the best fit for us. And for the cohort. And so that'll be announced once we make the selection of the participants. As soon as you get that selection, you'll get the notification on where the location is. Okay.
And then another question is does it start?
Where our tentative date, and it'll come later on, I have it on the slide, but it's tentatively February 14th is the date we're aiming for. It may get pushed back 1 week, but we don't want to start it any later than that. So it'll be the 14th is the date that I'm going for. But again, when we confirm once we get the location confirmed, then the date will be confirmed. The start date will be confirmed.
One more question.
Yes.
My next question is, what days are the 2-hour days that you'll be doing it on? That's a really important question for me.
Yes, yes, it is. And that's also contingent on which location, because one of the locations wants a Thursday, Friday, and the other location is a Monday, Wednesday. Okay.
So what would be the times? Because I already know I have one conflict for sure, and that's a Monday. And so I need to know the times.
The Monday and Wednesday time would be early. It'd be 7 to 3 those days.
Okay.
And then the Thursday, Friday might be something more like 8 to 4 or 9 to 5.
Okay.
On that. So the Minneapolis location would probably be 8 or 9 a.m. start time, and the St. Paul location would be 7. So depending on which one we go with. And the St. Paul location is the Monday, Wednesday. The Minneapolis is the Thursday, Friday. Not that you'll remember all of that, but we will get it nailed.
I'm writing it down.
Okay, good. So we will definitely confirm that. I'm trying to get that, it's the holidays coming up, but I am trying to get it solidified before the new year. So we will get that firmed up. Okay.
Thank you for those.
No problem. Any other questions?
I think that's it for now. That's kind of the main questions I wanted to know.
Okay. Awesome. So here's some cool pictures of the last couple cohorts we did. So you get to see us in the kitchen. We usually have a guest chef coming every week or every other week. Once a week we have lots of fun in the kitchen. It's very engaging. And then, our first cohort was small. We only had 8 people that started and 6 that ended up making it to graduation. I think there's a person cut off in this photo. That's not cool. I didn't realize that there's a person missing over here. It's Deba's missing. Well, here she is over here. But so these graduation photos are from the first cohort, and then these kitchen photos are from the second cohort when we were at Eat for Equity. So our first cohort, we were actually at the Good Acre, and the second cohort, we were at Eat for Equity, and now our third cohort will be at another kitchen. Now, just so you know, we're not trying to hop around forever. We actually have reached our capital campaign, and we're working on building out an actual dedicated training kitchen at the Good Acre, but that won't be done in probably for another year, right? So at least. So, but in the meantime, we're going to satellite and keep the program going, but can't wait to actually make our permanent home at the Good Acre when we get that kitchen built. So know that. So cool photos. So here's the training elements, right? So the program is designed. Yep.
I didn't see your photos. I don't know if anybody else saw them, but I didn't see them.
You don't see this slide that says cohort photos?
No.
What are you seeing right now?
I see you, and then I see like other people, the attendants. I just see you.
Oh, I'm sharing, aren't I? Is anyone else seeing my photos? Hold on, let me share again. But let me take it out of you know what?
Oh, now I can.
You can see it now?
Yes.
Okay, I don't know. I just stopped sharing and then started sharing again. Oh, and I guess I stopped sharing again accidentally. Let's see. Okay, Jill says she sees it. Okay, so it may be some. Now I know for a fact that that particular slide that I was showing with you is something about the photos on that slide that is really makes it go slow. So it could be both of our ends or my end over here, but you see it now?
Yeah, I see it. No, I see the picture.
Okay, great. Yep. So yep, graduation photos, and then us in the kitchen up here in the top left.
Can I ask one more question? I want to ask this question.
Sure.
You said that y'all cook fresh foods.
Mm-hmm.
Like, can you give like example what other kind of foods that you cook outside of just fresh foods? Like, can you give examples like it? Because I'm just I'm trying to see if it's like going to be like a wider variety, or is it just going to kind of be like more of the school lunch style? I know that 2 years back I went to school lunch.
This is culinary training. The training itself isn't based on school lunch. So I'll show you its Ruby levels 1 and 2. I'm getting ready to show you that. So you're going to see it in just but the different components we go to is professional cooking 1 and 2 on a platform called Ruby that we use, which is also accredited culinary program. It's an online culinary training. And so it's coupled with the in-classroom part where you do a lot of the coursework at home, but there are labs that are live graded labs that have to be done in the classroom and graded by the instructor. And then there's some parts that are done within the Ruby coursework where you cook at home and you might take pictures of your stuff. And there are actually instructors embedded in the Ruby program. We don't work directly with them, but they help grade things internally within the Ruby system. Okay. So ultimately, The program is designed to be flexible while reducing in-person contact and, make it, we're trying to keep it socially distanced and safe. So I'll show you the platform we use called Ruby. And are you guys able to see my screen still where I'm going to the Ruby platform? So this is the Ruby platform. And so the 2 courses we have are Culinary Foundations, levels 1 and 2. So I can give you a quick summary of what they cover in each level. So level 1, why my computer is being really touchy today? So unit view allows, we got Culinary Foundations where we just, get a basis in understanding culinary. And mind you, the Ruby provides what they provide, and then we supplement with a lecture. So we lecture during, we're in the kitchen, we either lecture at the beginning or the end of class, and it's tying things together, but we also supplement. So there's things that we lecture on that aren't in Ruby that we felt needed to be included that go deeper in culinary concepts. We also go into some more school lunch concepts because there's no school lunch concepts in Ruby whatsoever. So I have added on additional school lunch concepts like history around school lunch and understanding the components and some different specifics to school lunch. But overall, this is general culinary foundations. So it's focused on giving you the basic, kind of more comprehensive look. So we've got knife skills and knife sharpening, food and kitchen safety. Now, mind you, in addition to the Ruby platform, we also do the Serve Safe food managers. So the food safety managers training is also done on an online platform, and that's incorporated into the coursework. Okay. So you're learning the culinary piece and you're learning the food safety piece. This does go over food and kitchen safety a bit, but it's not Serve Safe, right? So we provide that additional layer. Then you're learning dry heat cooking techniques, moist heat cooking methods, how to make a stock, seasoning, plating, nutrition in the kitchen, and then there's an assessment at the end of Culinary Foundations level 1. Then Culinary Foundations level 2 goes a bit deeper here. For now, we're learning, it gives the overview, salads and vinaigrettes. We're getting into vegetables. We go over eggs. We do soups, sauces, rice and grains, legumes, pasta, meat, poultry, and fish. And then we do some baking basics. We're not doing any pastry really. We have a pastry basics, but we don't do a lot of pastry in the classroom just because pastry is like its own course within itself, its own field of study. And in schools, they're not doing a ton of pastry work. It's more, we're doing quick breads and cookies and things that are kind of easier to make, right? But there is a pastry basics, there's a chocolate section, and then an assessment at the end. So you're basically coursing through all of these foundations. And then, so I'll give you an example of, so like for the meat section, when you go to the unit, so I can show you the unit. Went right to the task. That's not what I was trying to do. So the unit on meat. So in each unit, there's tasks that you have to complete, right? Each unit is going to have like an orientation and objective. It's going to have a self-assessment that you complete at the beginning of the of things, and a pre-assessment that you do. And then it's going to go over and have these different tasks, right? So this task is you're reading this section is the task. And then that's it. But some of the tasks are more interactive, like you might be completing an actual activity, you might be answering some sort of, or doing a matching type of interactive activity. So there's different tasks that are more interactive, like I said. So here, labeling, right? So this is labeling the cross sections. So now you're going to, go to the task activity, and the task activity has you labeling the pieces, right? So there's some interactive parts there. And then the live graded lab, so for the meat, the only lab that we have for the meat section in our in class is that day we do a live graded lab for the premium steak. Now, mind you, we might be doing multiple labs in one day, right? So sometimes we're doing 3 labs in a day, usually 2, but there are days where they get stacked up and there's 3 of them in a day. And we're searing a steak, we're cutting down a chicken, and we're pan frying a fish fillet, right? We might do that all in one day. So this shows you ultimately, there's a video that you go through, and basically gives you your lesson on, let me see here. Yeah, it gives you your lesson on what you're supposed to do. And this is what we actually do in class together. So you're not supposed to do the live graded lab yourself at home. Okay. So so that's basically kind of an overview of the culinary, or the Ruby situation. Now, I'm not gonna get into the serve safe because it's just a little daunting, and I gotta log into the thing and go through their portal, and I don't want to take you all through that. But ultimately, what ServeSafe is a whole nother platform that you would create a username and pass. So this platform, each user creates a username and password so they can log into their portal. Us instructors are able to monitor and track your progress as you're going along, and also enter grades when we're doing your live grading, and also just look at like how you're doing. How are you doing? What's your scoring like? And then we try to catch things. We have weekly check-ins where we check in and see how you're doing and try to support you and overcome any barriers. So it's Ruby, and the coursework is like mapped out to where I kind of map it out in a 5-day-a-week schedule. What 5 days you work it on is up to you, as long as you are up to date on where you need to do by the time we get to the lab. Okay. So when you get to the lab, you need to at least have read that, look through that section. So it's not all like new to you when we get into the classroom and you're not caught up on what's going on. And so the way that I have it, scheduled out is based on, the 20 hours a week. Some days are heavier than others. I just have it mapped out to show you what you need to get done by a certain time, but you manage your time as to, again, how you're going to do that. I think I'm being redundant, but I want to make that clear, is that it's a mixture between the Ruby work, the ServeSafe work online. And so that's what I was saying, is that the ServeSafe portal is 10 modules that you have to course through. And we end up testing somewhere around halfway through the course. So you're not taking the ServeSafe all the way through the end. We're kind of done with ServeSafe a few weeks before we get done with training. Okay. People are able to take the test up to 2 times. If they don't pass it after 2 times, you have to wait 6 months to take it again. So it's important that you read the book. So we do provide the books, and we provide the online module. Now, when you take the online module, it's not required to read the book. However, your chances of passing the test are going to be much greater if you read the book. And reading the book is also coursed out in the work, right? So I have time allotted for actually reading the chapters, okay? So it's those two platforms. And then, like I said, we're in the classroom twice a week. And we're doing the live graded labs. We are doing the live graded labs. We are lecturing in that time, either at the beginning or the end. And then we also eat together. So whatever the live graded lab is, or whatever that, the course topic is for that week, Chef Orco is coming in now. And after I get through, I'll bring it back to you, Chef Hashi and Chef Orco, and you guys can hopefully talk a little bit more after I get through talking about the course. But ultimately, when you are when we're in the lab, where the week before, we're looking at what we're doing the next week, and we menu plan together. So as a class, so we might be doing steaks the next week, right? Well, we're not just gonna sear a bunch of steaks. We're gonna sear those steaks, and then we're gonna make some food with it that we're all gonna eat together. So we make family meal. So we try to get our labs done. And then all the while, the chefs might be helping cooking alongside, or we might break certain people off to do certain cooking projects. So we ultimately come together, and whatever we're live graded labs on, we're now make a meal. Maybe anything to do with the live graded lab, maybe it does. It all depends on the menu we come up with, right? And then we eat together, and then we usually lecture. We typically lecture at the end after we've eaten and cleaned up, and then we lecture and pretty much get out of the kitchen, right? And we also, like I said, have a guest chef. And so the guest chef will often add some a demo or a presentation as a part of the day's cooking when they're there. And their topic is related to whatever the topic is that we're talking about, right? So if we're talking about grains, they're going to be doing a demo or a presentation on grains. Okay. So I try to be super thorough with explaining all of that. Ruby, Culinary Foundations, level 1 and 2. And then I talked about the Serve Safe. And then we have School Food Service Foundations and Concepts. That's just what I've built on, my studies of what we need to make sure we have a foundational basis of knowledge around school lunch and some of the different components. Okay. So the weekly routine is ultimately, our in-person cooking labs and lectures are 2 days. And this is not accurate. It's definitely 8 hours, not 6. And then you got the flexible remote work, reading, activities, tasks, and assessments that are on the online platforms. Any questions about weeks 1 through 10? Thanks, Chef Jenny. I think she might have left already, but yep, they're 8 hours per day. 2 days in their 8-hour sessions, 2 full days. So if we can get in the St. Paul location, the time is going to be an earlier time. We're going to be a 7 o'clock start time. And I know Chef Hashi and Chef Orco. Oh, you like that? You like that, Chef? Okay. I think it's easier to get somewhere by 7 than it is at 8. I don't know why that is, but
it is.
Yeah, right? So, yeah. So we may start earlier on those days, but we'll make it happen. But it definitely is 8 hours per day for that time. Any other questions about the 10 weeks? What happens if you need to miss a day? So if you need to miss a day, we don't want you to miss any days, right? But if you need to miss a day, we want you to let us know as far in advance as possible. And then you got to plan with your instructor a makeup day to make up your lab. So you might have to come in and during an off time that you schedule with your instructor, and then you have to do the cooking that was necessary for your grade. Because the only thing that's graded in this is your labs. That's it. And your assessments are internally graded on the platform. I don't grade them. The only thing we grade are your labs there isn't really a pass fail to this, right? I mean, you get a score, so you know how well you did. You don't, there is a pass fail on the serve safe test, right? But ultimately, that you're getting graded, those are your really only grades from us. And we're checking in with you, we're giving you feedback, we're trying to encourage you as much as possible and give as much constructive feedback as we can. But if you need to miss a day, well, we don't want you to miss too many days, and we want you to make it up. Once you start missing a whole bunch of days and now we got to make up a lot of labs, that ends up being a hardship on the instructor. So we try to avoid that as much as possible. And there may be times where you could potentially make up a lab during another day if in the kitchen, but that's more difficult because we're probably doing another lab that day. You know what I mean? So it might be harder to do, but it's not impossible.
Yeah, I was just thinking about like spring break is coming. I usually travel for spring break. So I'm kind of trying to wrap my mind around dates already in my head.
Yep. And
then
sometimes what is spring break, like March, April?
Yep, it's at the end of March.
Yep. And we haven't discussed whether we would break for spring break or not. And I don't know that we would, but something to think about because I haven't done a spring session yet. We've only done fall kind of winter sessions. So we'll definitely be discussing that. So once I go through and get my date solidified, I go through each date and, verify, like, is this day really going to work? There may be a holiday that day. There may be, so it is possible that we could skip a spring break, but that also depends because not everybody's spring break is on the same week.
That's
so
true.
What week we do it on may not always work out for every single person. But if there's one week where you're going to be out of town and we could get ahead of it and have you pre-do your labs would be probably even better. But then your schedule a makeup time. All right. Any other questions about the 10 weeks?
So this is about 3.5 months. It probably, if we go starting February, March, April, May, maybe May, June.
Yeah, it's like 4 months technically with a little break in between. So we go for 10 weeks. You kind of have a little break in between, and then you go for the 4-week internship, right?
Okay.
And it's probably about a week or two break in between when the training ends and the internship begins. Okay. Just because logistically, I mean, we've tried to start it sooner, but we can't force it, So, any other questions? All righty. So then, we go into the 4-week internship phase. And that's where we try to do our best to pair the participants with a location that we think is going to be a good fit for both sides of the deal. And then we try to encourage, or we basically, we don't coordinate, but we kind of facilitate and direct students what the step is to getting in and doing a meet and greet at their internship location, figuring out their scheduling. We do facilitate some of the paperworky type stuff. And then there's some agreements that we have to sign that we do. And then the location may have some paperwork that they might require. And then you get in there, you determine your schedule. The schedule would be based on what they need and your availability and how that comes together. And then you work those 4 weeks. You would get paid, based on the time you put in, and finish that internship. And hopefully there's a connection to a job opportunity at the end of that. We don't push that. We don't try to force anybody to want to get into the job or force a job to hire anyone. But if it's a natural fit, then we do try to, support that and facilitate that process as much as possible. Any questions about the internships? It's the briefest part of it, so it's not like a lot of details to it. Most of it's like administrative, logistical stuff, right?
It's kind of tied to internship, but what is a typical pay for that you guys seen that people have gotten when they finish this training?
The typical rate is around what they're getting paid in the program. So we pay $15 an hour is what it's around. That's pretty typical as like a base. So when you're going in, you're still entry level at this point. You're not a manager, you're still just in 10 weeks of training, right? You definitely have some skills and you have been able to apply them for a month. And then your trajectory from there is really up to you, your capability, who you're working with, and what, where you think the opportunity is within that, right? Because I've seen people that can finish and, they may struggle still to develop their skill set. It may take them longer to develop that skill set. They may need to continue to work and grow and learn, where I've seen other people who either may naturally just get it and they can go into a job and 3 months later you're like, oh, I'm the assistant manager now, or they can some people already have experience as well that have come into the program. They might have experience but no training, right? So this kind of helps bridge that gap. And honestly, having the Serve Safe Manager certification on your resume is a great credential that people are looking for. So it gives you a leg up, and I've negotiating power when it comes to, if you're trying to go into a food service job and you have that, I think, it may lend to you being able to negotiate for more money. But I would say starting wage, I would say around 15 to 17 is what I would say. And Chef Hashi, any input on that wage?
It sort of depends from person to person. Hello, everyone. And, like Chef Michelle was saying, I think, what you bring into the value you bring into each, different place, I think it's different, but the entry, is 15 is the entry, but going from there, I think there's, what I've seen is some are earning close to $20 and some might be over slightly, and that just depends on the skills that you pick up and how comfortable and confident you are willing to work hard on that.
Yep.
Yeah, the sky's the limit, to be honest with you.
And this is definitely not a job for the faint of heart. It takes some gumption, and I don't mean this job like working in schools. I mean a culinary career, being a culinary professional. It is hard work, because it's physically and mentally demanding. And so you just got to be ready for that. And sometimes it takes some getting used to start. Like when you start working out, it might be painful at first. And it literally can be like that when you first started working in the industry, and you might not be used to like working an 8-hour day, 5 days a week. And sometimes like 8 hours might be short. You know what I mean? Now, working in schools, I would say probably it doesn't have the rigor that like working in a restaurant has, because they don't work the long hours. You're probably working a 6-hour day because a school day isn't that long, right? But working in a restaurant, you could maybe work some 10-hour shifts, but some restaurant workers work 10, 12, 15, 16-hour shifts. And so, you got to know where you're at. Do you want to be in a restaurant like that? Or you might want to be in a catering company that, so there's different types of production that you can think about where you might want to go, what might be best for you, catering versus a restaurant versus a school or food production versus maybe being a private chef, or doing some other, there's all kinds of career tracks in culinary, right?
Absolutely. It's very, vast. And I think, we show you how to love and how to fall in love with food again. And that's kind of like our VoCul thing. And through that, I think you'll see the dedication and the hard works. And, all of us have a lot going on, but at the same time, we love what we do. And we're just trying to transfer that knowledge and, hoping others will find the same passion and, it's you can make a good living out of it. And I think it's, and that's, the end result is, you want to make money out of something you love. So we want to show you how to love something that's worth working hard at.
Right. Absolutely. Couldn't have said it better, Chef. So after the 10-week training and then the 4-week internship, then we go into graduation, which is a ceremony that we do. We get together, we eat. Now, the first graduation, we all cooked together and ate together. And that was great. But my feet hurt so bad last time that we hired one of our graduates from the first cohort to cater the second cohort's training graduation. So we can decide as a group, who the cohort can decide whether we want to cook together or whether we want to order food. But we had a great graduation. We streamed it live on Facebook. We gave out certificates. We gave awards. We ate good. We played some games. We took some pictures. We had a valedictorian who did a speech, gave prizes. So it was just a fun time to get together. The first time we invited family and friends, but it was outside and it was cold. So then the next time we did it inside, but we weren't able to invite family or friends because of our space capacity. However, next time hopefully you'll be able to have more capacity to be able to invite friends and family, but we did invite them to tune into the live stream. So before in the Q&A, I do want to just show this slide, which just says that we're accepting applications through January 7th. We look to be starting tentatively on February 14th or that week. And then we'll have an orientation before that so what will happen is January 7th, applications are due. We will go through the applications and then determine who will be interviewed. We will go through the interviews and then select the cohort participants. And then they'll be notified. And then that's when you'll start to get the schedule and the details, the location and the course, calendar and syllabus and all of that, all the details that you need in order to start. And so if you are interested, please go ahead and apply. Yep, we put the link into, let me press that. We put the link into the chat. Nikki did. Thank you, Nikki. And also, if you know of an organization that might be interested in helping recruit through their clients or constituents, we're accepting inquiries for that. Or if you know of a kitchen that might be interested in taking interns, we're looking for inquiries for those as well. We can always expand our partnerships and impact. So ultimately, that is the bulk of what I wanted to say, but I also wanted to bring back, before we get too deep into Q&A, Chef Hashi, been chiming in and much appreciated. Anything you want to add or say? I told him a little bit about, I put your slide up with your bio on it and your picture, but anything you want to add?
Nothing really. I just definitely look forward to 2022 spring vocal cohort, and it's just excited about that.
Awesome.
Overall, what the future holds.
Yep. We're looking forward to it. Hey, Chef Orco, are you in a place where you can pop on really quick and say hi to everybody?
Yes. Let me see. Am I there? Hey, everybody. Hey. Just getting back from school. I'm just excited to make new connections with the chefs, and everything that you guys said is on point. This is a real exciting opportunity for everyone involved. This is exciting for us and for our cohorts. And this winter cohort, let's get it on.
Yes, we're excited. I'm spilling water on myself. I'm trying to drink it. Don't pay attention to that. Yes, well, I'm excited as well. if you've already applied, you'll expect to hear after the 7th. So give us about a week or two to get back to you. Yeah, I would say you'll hear from us by the end of January at the latest, but we're going to try to expedite it as fast as we can. Absolutely. So that's all I had. Any questions, other last minute questions before we all say have a good evening and get back to our non-virtual vibes? Well, hearing none, I say thank you again. Thank you, Chef Orco, Chef Hashi for being on, and Anna and Nikki from the Good Acre for chiming in. Again, we're gonna have this video, I think, on YouTube, so you can share it and people can learn more, and send them to the website to learn more and apply soon. And we'll look forward to, hopefully seeing your great faces in the classroom in February.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
See you soon.
Michelle.